guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about the 5 pieces of equipment that you need to start backpacking. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button down here and the notification bell to know when I post new videos. Otherwise, let's get into the 5 pieces of equipment. The first piece of equipment that you're going to want to buy is a good quality sleeping bag. I definitely recommend that you spend what your budget allows and get a nicer one to start with rather than buying a cheap one and then needing to replace it. Speaking from personal experience here, that's definitely something that I made a mistake doing, and I wish that I had just gotten a nicer one to begin with. There are a few things to think about when you're purchasing your first sleeping bag, but primarily, especially for backpacking, you want something lightweight and that can compress down. So those two qualities are what you're looking for, combined with the sleep rating that you want. I have a couple examples here. This is the first proper backpacking sleeping bag that I got. As you can see, they really compress down a lot. Obviously it's in a stuffed sack right now with all these straps to help it compress. This is by the brand Marmot and it's the Women's Trestles Elite Eco, rated down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. I will say the 20 degrees is a little bit generous. It's definitely not warm or even comfortable, even to freezing. So keep in mind that the manufacturers of sleeping bags will have different comfort ratings essentially for the temperature. So if you're looking for comfortable backpacking, make sure that the degrees that they have listed are their comfort rating. Not like you're just gonna barely survive. So keep that in mind. It's definitely not necessarily going to be comfortable to what is listed on the package. As you can see, it's quite compact. Definitely works in the summer and when it's warmer out, a good 3-season sleeping bag. The second sleeping bag that I have here is by Mountain Hardwear. This is the Bishop Pass sleeping bag and it's rated down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So definitely can be used in much cooler temperatures. And honestly, I don't sleep outside when it's colder than this. So this one does me any of the colder seasons when I'm camping. The second piece of equipment that you're going to want to get is a shelter of some sort. Most likely going to be a tent, but really depends where you're going to be backpacking. So I recommend researching the terrain where you're going to be staying or where you plan to go backpacking and figure out what kind of shelter is appropriate there. Personally, I prefer to get freestanding tents, meaning I don't need to rely on stakes or guy lines to have my tent stand up. It's completely self-sufficient and will hold itself up just by the poles. I have 2 examples here with me. Freestanding tents like the 2 that I'm about to show you tend to be a bit heavier because of the extra weight from the poles, but I find that they're a bit more versatile because I can use them generally anywhere, including rocky terrain, sand, places without trees where I can stick guy lines, and I can just pop up the tent and set it on the ground. As long as the ground is flat enough, I'm good to go. The first backpacking tent that I got was this one by Alps Mountaineering. It's the Lynx 2-person tent. Honestly, when I first got this, I thought that it was really small because I was used to like the Coleman Sundome type tents, but this is maybe 5.5 pounds, I believe. I can put the stats below. I think I took this on one backpacking overnighter and it was so heavy. So similar to the sleeping bag, I definitely recommend that you splurge as much as you can to get a lightweight tent because those few pounds really add up when you have to trek miles and miles with it on your back. So I saved a bunch of money, getting this on sale and thinking that it was just gonna work fine. I thought that 5 pounds was pretty light, but I really only used it that one time and decided I needed to get a lighter tent, which is where my second tent comes in. So this is the backpacking tent that I'm using right now. It is by the brand Nemo and it's the Hornet 2-person tent. I prefer 2-person tents over one personally, just so I can have the option of camping with another person in the tent with me. And even if I'm camping by myself, sometimes I bring my dog. So I like to have the extra space for him and just to put my stuff. I find that the weight of getting a 2-person tent versus the 1-person is worth it for me. It's just a small weight increase for a lot of extra comfort and space in the tent. So this is the one I'm using right now. I got this on Amazon and I will link it below. And so far I've been loving it. I use this in Yosemite and it was great. It's so small and compact. The weight on this that's listed is 1 pound 14 ounces, so it's under 2 pounds and it's significantly lighter and easier to travel with than the Alps Mountaineering. The third piece of equipment that you're going to want to get is a sleeping pad. So if you don't use a sleeping pad, you will struggle, trust me on that, because I have gone camping and my sleeping pad, unbeknownst to me, had a hole in it and it was just the worst. So the sleeping pad that I've been using for quite a while now, a few years, is this one by Sleep and Go. This is actually my second one. The first one that I had was the one that had a hole in it, which I couldn't find to repair. So I actually did purchase a second one. They do have a lifetime warranty on this. So if you do get a hole in it, you can just get it replaced. I believe it's 40 bucks on Amazon, so it's really a great deal. It's super comfortable, super fast to inflate, and very compact and light. If you're not looking for an inflatable sleeping pad like that one, pretty popular is these foam ones. Not as big as this. This one's super, super old, so it's not the modern, more compact technology. This one honestly is probably close to 30 years old, but you can use something like this where it's an actual foam and strap it to the outside of your pack. These ones I think are getting more popular. A lot of them I see like the Z Fold type, and these are super comfortable also if you have the space for it. And they're definitely really light. The fourth piece of equipment that you're gonna wanna get before you go backpacking is a water filtration system of some sort. There are a million different kinds. Probably the Sawyer Squeeze is one of the most popular ones, which I've used before and loved. There are also various tablets. There's the SteriPen, and I have a slightly different method, kind of similar to the SteriPen, but I actually use an LED water bottle. I have been using this for ages. I use this at home. I use this all the time. This is by the brand Lark. I think I fell victim to some Instagram ads and purchased this and love it. So I actually have 2 Lark water bottles. There's an LED in the lid, which just kills any viruses and bacteria in here. So really the only thing that I need to worry about when I'm using the Lark is actual particulates in the water, like dirt, rocks, leaves, algae, that kind of stuff. But if I use this in combination with some type of physical filter, then I'm perfectly good to go. And the reason that this works for me is because the places that I've gone backpacking have very clear water. So the Lark works perfectly fine as long as the water is clear to to your naked eye. But an LED like the Lark or the SteriPen can be quite expensive. And like I mentioned, they do have their limitations with physical contaminants that need to be filtered out. So just research the water in the areas that you're going to be backpacking and see what you need. And lastly, the fifth piece of equipment is, of course, the backpack. The reason that I leave the backpack for last is that, in my opinion, you should get all of the other pieces of equipment that you need first, and then that will help determine the size of the backpack that you're going to need. So if you were able to splurge and get some really compact and light pieces of equipment for the first 4 things, then your backpack can be smaller, which will save you space and prevent you from having excess space that you feel like you need to fill. So I have 2 examples here of backpacks that I've used, and they're different sizes. So the first one that I have here is by the brand Gregory, and this is the Women's Maven backpack. This one is 45 liters, I believe, because I got the extra small size. It's actually 42 or 43 liters. I will say I would struggle to fit everything I needed for backpacking in this by myself, especially with the tent. So I've had friends use this while I carried a bigger backpack that had the tent in it. So this is probably the very, very smallest you could go, in my opinion, with everything that you need for a backpacking trip. But really like this one for like a one-nighter where you don't have to carry a ton of stuff. The other backpack that I have is actually the first one that I purchased. This one, oh my. This one is by the brand Deuter. It is a 60 plus 10 liter backpack. That means the main compartment, this area here, is 60 liters, and then this brain, the brain is the top part, is actually detachable. This is an additional 10 liters. So as you can see, it's quite large. Honestly, when it's completely full, I feel like it's just about as big as I am. But that backpack was suggested to me by an REI specialist. I did go in for a fitting and thought that I wanted my first pack to be in the 40 to 50 liter range, like my first Gregory bag. And he kind of gave me a wake-up call and told me I probably needed at least 60 to have enough space to carry all the stuff that I needed. So I'm glad I found this one. I like that the size is flexible with a 60 plus the 10. And this has honestly been pretty stuffed to the brim every time I've gone backpacking with, you know, my tent and sleeping bag and everything in there. But I definitely recommend you get the backpack last so you know how much space you need and you don't just go out and pick a random size like I almost did. So really that's all you need to start backpacking. It's not a ton. I know backpacking equipment can be a little bit expensive and there's tons of, you know, extra things that you can purchase, but those are the bare minimum things that you really need to get if you don't already have them before you can hit the trail and start backpacking. I will say the reason that I left off backpacking shoes specifically or hiking boots is that it's my opinion that you don't need to go out and purchase different shoes. I've seen that trail runners and sneakers have become more and more popular on the trail rather than hiking boots. And if you have just a good pair of sneakers that are comfortable, worn in, and that you feel like you can walk forever in, you're good to go. You don't need to go out and buy separate shoes for backpacking or for hiking. Just use what you've got and it'll be fine. If you think I'm missing anything from this list, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be super curious to hear your thoughts. And let me know, what is your favorite piece of backpacking equipment that you've ever used? It could be something unusual, maybe a luxury item that you love to bring on the trail, or something that you feel like other people should know about that you haven't seen other people using. Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this useful and that this took some of the intimidation factor out of backpacking. You really only need a few things to be able to hit the trail, go on adventures, and see some amazing sights. So I hope that this inspires you to get out there and do some backpacking of your own. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell below to see more videos like this one. You can also find me on Instagram at April Adventuring. I would love to see you over there as well, and I will talk to you guys soon. By the way, I just have to say that I'm wearing my Set It Off tour t-shirt in honor of Bryson Tiller's new album that just came out. This is from when I saw him in 2017, I believe. Love you, Bryson Tiller.